Hello, music fans. We're here today talking with Ed Hamill, who goes under the name Hamill on Trial when performing a solo, acoustic, high-energy word hurricane. We're talking to him about his album Choochtown, which is celebrating a 20th anniversary and being released for the first time on vinyl by the prestigious record label New West, along with a CD with 11 bonus tracks. Hey, Hamill, it's great to see you. And I gotta say right off the bat, you look great. Ah, thanks, generic interviewing guy, probably aspiring for your own talk or game show. It's the Daily Moisturizer. So, tell us about the upcoming release. Yeah, well, Choochtown was recorded 20 years ago. Hard to believe. And there's a lot of fans that have been inquiring, is it ever going to be released on vinyl, which is that new format that the kids are all embracing now. And and it's never been actually released on any social media platform, Spotify or whatnot. So we're going to be releasing it on that as well. And how about giving us some insight into the recording genesis? So I remember a couple of things about it at the time. I had been dropped. I had done 2 albums on Mercury Universal. My major label deal went kaput, and so that, I mean, in many respects, that was freeing. I felt very free to do whatever the heck I want. I owed nothing to nobody, and I had no budget, 0 recording budget, and also coupled with that, I had just been in a near-death car accident. I was in an upper body brace for 9 months, 24/7. Ran that upper body brace over with the car when I got done. Harrowing. Inspiring. So what did you do? You know, I've always been kind of inspired by strict parameters. I make a joke about this, but it's true. Deadlines inspire me, and no budget, I make a video with a flip book. If you got no money. And so, in the words of the great Malcolm X, by any means necessary. And I did a lot of things. I borrowed gear, and I slept on floors, and I relied on the generosity of some dear friends, and, got a little money together by playing gigs. And particularly there was a couple of guys, Billy Nagorski, who was amazing. He let me record the majority of the album in his basement, and Grammy award-winning Phil Niccolo, one of the Butcher Brothers, has always been amazingly supportive, and so there at Studio 4 we did a bunch of recording, demos, overdubs, and mixing and mastering. And who would you say were the inspirations? So yeah, I've always been a big fan of the noir, reading stuff. Elmore Leonard, Damon Runyon, Dashiell Hammett, Raymond Chandler, and then I think, and then Pulp Fiction was you. I mean, Quentin Tarantino was a rock star in those. Was that 96, 98? I don't know. He was a rock star anyway, and so conceptually, Pulp Fiction really inspired me. And there was the second Biggie Smalls album, which I think is Ready to Die. But I remember listening to that a lot. So between all those influences, it was very much me. That became Choochtown. I would have dreams as a kid. There was like a neighborhood, and there was a bar, and there was a movie theater. There was this little town in my dreams when I was a child. So I kind of used that. And then I worked in a crack bar, like if Night of the Living Dead had a Cheers. That's where I worked. So a lot of those guys, I knew those guys. So I'm curious, how was it received? So remember, I had no record deal at the time, but a friend of mine, Howard Thompson, Google him, huge supportive and great taste, and he's done amazing stuff with Suicide and Lemmy and John Lydon. And so he helped me get it licensed to a label over in New York called Evangeline, who they had previously been Silvertone, who had broke the Stone Roses out of Manchester. And then through them, it got reviewed in Uncut magazine, which at that time was, print media was very different in those days, infinitely more influential. And so it got a 5-star review and album of the month, and then ultimately the number 6 album of the year. And then, and that started my career in Europe. And you wrote a column for Uncut magazine after that, correct? Yeah, the column was about the disappearing bohemian scene in Manhattan. So tell us about the New West vinyl edition. So I'm really proud of the way this is coming out. New West, as usual, has made every effort to release a high-quality product. It's going to be on shocking pink vinyl.
140 gram.
Original artwork. The CD has 11 bonus tracks, which Billy Nagorski found. No one was more surprised than me in light of the fact that, his mom owned the house. I initially, when Billy said, hey, I met him at Rough House Records when I got dropped, and the guys at Rough House had wanted to sign me, and they were experiencing amazing success with the Lauryn Hill album and the Cypress Hill stuff. They were, a hip-hop label, but they wanted to get into some wacky shit like I was doing. And so I met Billy there. His brother had been in a band that had been on Rough House. And so he said, oh, come to my basement, Ed. I know you're dropped. We took our advance money. We built a studio. I thought it was going to be some kind of wacky Animal House vibe. But no, he lived with his mother and his father in the suburbs, and his mother, I should say, could single-handedly give Catholicism a good name. She'd take in all the stray kids from the neighborhood. There was a bunch of fucking, homeless kids there, and they'd be drunk and high at night, and all of a sudden, yeah, I play bass, oh, I play keyboards, boom, we had a band, and that's the Choochtown Band a lot of times. And I didn't even know that these 11 songs existed, but Billy gave me the stuff. And so you're really going to get a treat with the CD as well. Well, this is going to be quite an item for the collectors. And once again, we wish you the best of luck. And once again, I got to say, you do look great. Well, frankly, Gene, I had a little work done. Oh, really? You had some work done on your face? Well, I had my penis lengthened.